So let me ask you this. I mean, while you was working at NCR specifically, you talked a little bit about you were seeing things in regards to acquiring companies, mergers and acquisitions. What were some of the things that you learned seeing all of that while you was there?
I'll definitely talk on some of the universal truths maybe that I learned from that. I'll keep some of the names out of it because I think NCR has some fantastic lawyers. But you know, from an M&A perspective, it kind of goes back to still that umbrella of growth and how you navigate growth. So really, I mean, one thing I got a chance to see within NCR is what growth is for. Like, yes, it's required, but it's about, especially at a public company, you know, it's about unlocking additional value. And if your NCR and all the acquisitions that they were looking to make from that perspective was either doing a couple of things. It was either, you know, helping expand what a product or a service could do that it couldn't do before. So, hey, we're going to go get somebody that already knows how to do that. Let's make that ours. Let's make that part of our umbrella. Or it's in a region or it's in a geography where we're not at. So let's go make them part of our team. So now we have access to that. And then sometimes it comes down with personnel and expertise and like there's a skill set or there's a technology over there that we don't have. So let's figure out how to make that technology or that skill set part of our ecosystem as well. And so I think that's just the more of sort of the universal truth aspect that I grasped from the time at NCR in thinking about growth in the example of like mergers and acquisitions, that yes, growth is required, but there's a strategic method of trying to make sure you unlock the right value from that growth. And really what happens too on to make sure that you unlock the value from those growth activities, you know, that's where figuring out how your brand and your operations and how you're executing all sort of need to play together, you know, because once you've done the deed, or once you've done the growth moment of you've gotten the thing, you've gotten the company, you've gotten the geography, then it's kind of like, well, all right, well, now what? Like, how do we ensure that value is actually created in that? And that's where that work of someone like, you know, what we're doing at Alfred Wynn comes in.
Gotcha. Okay. So after NCR, you say you go back to advertising.
I did. I went back to a smaller independent agency.
Why was that?
You know, I think a culture fit for sure. Something about, you know, first of all, you look amazing in this suit. I should have said that at the beginning.
Appreciate you,
I should have said that in the beginning.
Appreciate you, brother.
You know, but I say that as an example of just, you know, sort of with the expectation of culture. And this is not a summation of what culture is, but, you know, NCR is a place where, you know, there's an expectation of dress a certain way, I think. And I think some people will probably debate this that are there now, and everybody has their opinion and they're entitled for that. But it is a place where there's an expectation that, you know, maybe your presentation in a room, your style, your look is to be done a certain way, or you should, you know, have a certain jacket, or you should have a certain, and sometimes I will admit those things are not intentionally created. They just develop gravity, and gravity just keeps sucking other stuff into it, and that sort of becomes an expectation. But it's less about, I guess, really NCR, and I may be giving them too much credit in that, and it's more about what the culture of what traditional advertising agencies have created. Like, it's a place where, you know, ideas are flowing, creation is flowing, and that oftentimes expresses in like what you get to work at the office, or, you know, what the culture is, what music is blasting when you come in there. All that stuff kind of matters, right? And what you create and how you make new products and services and stuff out of those environments. And I kind of wanted to go back to that. It was something that, like I say all the time, I grew up in agency. So just that freedom that, you know, I can, you know, rock my style however I want to rock my style. It means that I know no more or no less than anyone else that styles themselves differently. But there's just a freedom with the culture about agency. I really appreciate what they've gotten right about that, in my mind, of just letting people be and express, you know, how they want to be and express. And I was craving going back to that. And so I did.
Gotcha. Okay. What type of clients you was working with that agency?
Within the last agency I was with, I worked in healthcare, a lot of healthcare business.
Gotcha.
I let everyone sort of do the research on their own, but I had one of the largest hospital systems within the state of Georgia as a client at the time. Global eye care brand as well within the healthcare space. But I worked on some other just global software companies as well in terms of helping them build out their brand strategy, how their growth systems look. And it was an amazing ride. I think that was right over 3 years that I was with this last smaller private agency before launching Alfred Win.
Okay. All right. So next you launch Alfred Win.
Next, I launched Alfred Win. And I want to say it was like the smooth takeoff from the runway, like how we hope all of our flights are.
I'm curious about that. How did that transition happen from you coming from the agency to
it actually was born. Alfred Win was born out of trial. And I think it's important to say that because I think a lot of times people start things and they're like inspired. I'm gonna create something, and you totally should. And whatever it is, you absolutely should. But sometimes that the forest grows best when everything's sort of been burned away. And that's essentially what happened with Alfred Win. So the past small or private agency that I was with, we had some challenges financially with just how things were going, and sometimes within agency, which is also the nature of agency, how you solve for that is you make space. You make space oftentimes by dissolving teams, and some people, unfortunately, the nature of the business, you have to move on. And we made the decision, or they made the decision, I should say. It wasn't my decision. They made the decision that I needed to move on from just totally financially driven, nothing about performance. I was doing great work. They were enjoying that work, and we were really collaborating together greatly. But, sometimes you just got to do the math and let the math tell you what the outcome is. And that outcome to me was that I needed to move on. And so that we did that. We parted ways, and that was really tough for me because we talked at the beginning about Lufkin and my upbringing in Lufkin, Texas. And, I really credit both my parents for just instilling this work ethic in me. And I think a lot of people know how to work hard, and I don't want to discredit anyone from that. But for me, work ethic, mine at least, feels more inherited than taught. I think my dad is an incredible thing, isn't it? It doesn't a feeling. It's like people are like, oh, I can teach them a work ethic, but something about it also feels like it's in DNA. It's my DNA. I think if you slice one of my fingers, you might see a little work ethic drip drop out of there. And then
I tell people all the time, my mom and my dad work as well hard. My mom as well, definitely strong work ethic. So I believe that was implanted in me too. Yeah,
it's special, and it's certain. And we can have a whole other podcast episode about this, but it's a stewardship. With that too. It's a stewardship for that too. But just the faith in the work ethic that they instilled in me, I think, was why being let go at a period was so difficult. Because I think God has done a lot of things in my life to sort of like show me who He is and how gracious He is and has been to me, and how much He's protected me. But the moment of having my work sort of like taken away, it did something. It was almost like a rewiring in a way. Right? I've dealt with trauma and some things, but I've also been really fortunate. But the work change of having something that was my livelihood in some ways, maybe this was over indexed, but was my identity even taken away. I sort of lost it a little bit. I'm like, where do I go from here? And I make the joke all the time. I'm like, man, I was in a really dark place about a month or so. My wife will correct me in an instant. It's like it wasn't a month. You're wired a little different. It was like a week. So for about a week, man, I was just really in a tough place. But I have an amazing wife, and one of the things that she did was
quick question: how did you all meet?
How did we meet? We met back to sports. We met at a networking event at a Dallas Mavs game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, I will drop my theory since you asked. Here's my theory.
Okay.
Guys go to networking events to meet women, and women go to get jobs.
Hello, this is G Bass, Rise of the 1%, Rise Media. We on this Saturday evening about to get ready to knock out some podcast episodes with some individuals here in the city of Atlanta making some big moves. You can see here, look, this is how it goes down. Here when our guests come and sit down with myself, G Bass, other Rise 1% of Rise Media, to have that conversation, to share the story, share the journey, share what you got going on. So listen, everybody got a story, everybody got a journey, and then you got some things going on, then you definitely can get with us and see if it'll be a fit to be on the Rise 1% podcast and actually have that discussion with myself. It's going to be a link to a form for you to fill out. You said www.theriseofthe1%.com/pod-form. Again, www.theriseofthe1%.com/pod-form. It's going to be in this video. You can fill that out, and we can see if it'll be a fit for you to come on and have that conversation with myself. If you don't fill out the form, then obviously it's not for you, and that's fine. We're looking for those that's serious. Those that's serious about rising to the top 1% are already in the 1%. That's what we're looking to sit down with myself right here. As you can see, Rise Media, Rise to the 1%. This is how we get down. We have a great time and have a lot of fun doing it. So once again, if you're serious, make sure you fill out the form. We'll look over the form, see if it's a fit. If it's a fit, we'll reach out. If not, we won't reach out. We'll just continue to move forward. But with that said, this is G Bass. See you soon. Have a great one on purpose.